people and know that what our purpose is to connect. And that's why the number one unalienable right in the country, the way the country was built, was to assemble peacefully and productively, not have peaceful protests where you burn down Target.
Yeah, right.
So
And get away with it.
you want to be able to connect to people, see yourself in them, and that's how you get things moving. When you have two people in the right frame of mind, when they're focused on activity, when they're focused on goal setting and in the future, when you have two or more people, right? When you meet people like that, then like it multiplies itself almost exponentially. And there's no way to really quantify it. And I just use that as an example. But then you can create things, right? Then you create things out of thin air. New things happen. You get new cultures and new creativity and new creations, new goals. And that's why it's important to be able to connect to people. And it creates a spark. We had this discussion in the car when I had you trapped the other day. What do we connect over the most? We're supposed to connect over coming together and making things done as a community. That's why the Elks Lodge was important. And that's also why the Elks Lodge was a male club. Because men are collaborators by nature, right? And we walked in the Elks Club and did a presentation, and it wasn't the same. Now, if those were all men, they wouldn't have given us the same, how full of shit are you, half an hour or 10 minutes that they gave us, right? But because there are women present, and it's just natural for men to become competitors when women, if you're not alerted to it.
I don't get that. Explain that. You're saying that men are more...
Men are natural collaborators.
Collaborators, so negotiating...
Everything.
Working out, building stuff,
joining
together.
Clubs, building villages, farms, everything that came before
teamwork,
technology.
working on a team.
Exactly. I mean, back to tens of thousands of years.
So, and is this why women in the workplace don't get along with each other for the most part?
Well, from
Not
what I've
entirely,
been told is what we've learned is that women are natural competitors.
Yeah, right. Because they're competing, believe it or not.
Women are really good.
Us.
Are better at being social than men because we only have on-off switches and they're like dimmer switches, right?
Right.
So they're going to compete and be friends back and forth, and that's when you watch groups of women, they cannibalize each other.
Yeah, they do. They tear each other apart.
And men are starting to do that too.
Yeah, well, men are turning into women.
So you'll notice that, what happened in that speaking engagement was that you thought you had to compete with me naturally, but you didn't because I'm actually on Team Cameron. Again, you've got to understand that we're supposed to be collaborating to make something and create something, and that's all that we have to worry about. That's all we have to focus on. So that's they do that. I mean, there's a little competition there and there's backbiting and stuff, but in the traditional, if you read about the traditional mob, there wasn't a whole lot of that. I mean, the only competition was between the Italians and the Jews.
Right.
So in the end, we want to collaborate and focus on collaborating, right? And when we collaborate and build a future and we actually have a common physiology, like we're talking loosely now, you and I, on where this whole thing is going to go. And I think we can do this independently. Like, we don't need this space.
No, we don't.
And we can have fun with it.
Right.